Hi, I'm Deborah Allen, Deputy Director for Health Promotion at the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. I'd like to congratulate BreastfeedLA for an incredible 26 years of breastfeeding advocacy. We are so appreciative of our long-standing partnership and are proud allies with you as we work to improve perinatal equity in Los Angeles County. This year has been full of challenges, with COVID-19 continuing to impact our community and our families. Never before has it been more challenging and yet more necessary to protect the breastfeeding relationship as a public health priority. BreastfeedLA is needed now more than ever. Join us on November 12th as we celebrate BreastfeedLA at their virtual gala, Feeding the Future from Home. Thank you.
Welcome everyone to the 6th annual BreastfeedLA Gala. The fun will begin momentarily.
Hello everyone, and welcome to BreastfeedLA's 6th annual gala, Feeding the Future from Home. My name is Cindy Young, and I'm a BreastfeedLA Senior Program Manager. And I'm so excited to be one of your hosts today. We have a great show ahead. Yes, welcome everyone. I'm Hannah Hallowell, and I'm a program coordinator with BreastfeedLA, and so excited to be here with you all. And with you, Cindy, one of my favorite people. Oh, thanks, Hannah. You're pretty cool too. And you are wonderful for being here to celebrate 26 years of BreastfeedLA. Yes, thank you. Now, get as comfortable as you want to be. There haven't been a whole lot of benefits of COVID, but one that we can all agree on is that at least no one's going to be looking to see if you're wearing pants. Agreed. No pants check today. Make yourself at home. It's in our event title after all. When we consider today's theme, Feeding the Future from Home, we first think literally of feeding our milk to our future, our children. To feed someone, to feed something is to sustain it. We hope today to show you how BreastfeedLA's work protects and supports the human milk feeding relationships in our community. And we ask you to join us in helping sustain that work. Help us feed our community's future. That was beautiful, Cindy. And yes, when we think about our home, there's this physical space that we're lucky to gather and to live. There's our children's home, our bodies, our arms, our milk. And then, of course, there's Mother Earth, which is home to all of us. And for us lucky folks who live and work here in LA County, that's our home. It's BreastfeedLA's home. And yet this area we love is the first home of several indigenous Native American Indian tribes. In respect of this truth and in our commitment to reaching our Native breast and chest feeding community, we start our gathering with a land acknowledgement. We welcome our colleague and friend, Mireya Gonzalez, BreastfeedLA Advocacy Chair and Social Media Coordinator.
Hello, my name is Mireya Tecpasochi Gonzalez, and I am of Purepecha descent and first generation here, born in Los Angeles. I am also Advocacy Chair and Social Media Coordinator at BreastfeedLA. Greetings to all of our relations and to all of you here with us today. In light of this year's theme, Feeding the Future from Home, we would like to begin our event by first acknowledging our presence on the home, ancestry, and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva, Chumash and the Fernandinho Tatadiam and the Kitanemu peoples, representing the indigenous peoples and groups that comprise what we call Los Angeles County today. We also acknowledge that forced migration throughout colonial history, along with the introduction of settler borders, has added to the diversity of displaced indigenous populations in the Los Angeles area. And many indigenous populations from Latin America have come to also call Los Angeles their home. Los Angeles County has the largest concentration of Native American Indians in the United States. And so we acknowledge the many Native Americans who have migrated to California and to this wonderful city that we call Los Angeles. Tlazokamati, thank you.
Thank you, Mireya. Wherever you are joining from today, at home, at work, in your car, we welcome you. So we've been excitedly waiting for this day. At BreastfeedLA, we love to be in community. And we know, because you're connected with us, that you do too. So please join us in the chat. We want to talk. We're fluent in emoji, so bring it on. We love it all. When you share this event, please use the hashtag BFLA2020. Sharing is caring, so please share this event. And remember to visit our silent auction and snap up those Disneyland tickets or that Limerick breast pump, which was one of my favorites. All proceeds are going to Breastfeed LA. We'd now like to thank our sponsors: Lundquist Institute, South Los Angeles Health Project, California Healthcare Foundation, PHFE WIC, and Northeast Valley Health Corporation. We want to say a big thank you to Dignity Health Glendale Memorial Hospital, Mother's Milk Bank San Jose, PIH Health, and very near and dear to my heart, Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital. And now let's take a moment to meet Breastfeed LA.
It's more important to look at the mom as an individual.
The way that she presents the information, I love it a lot. Open my eyes. My heart is always open, but I get more information.
It is becoming more diversified, and with that said, we need to be more equipped to cover the needs of all the cultures.
I love that, Hannah. Such a sweet snapshot of what Breastfeed LA does and who we are. Now we'd like to welcome our Breastfeed LA ambassador, the lovely Annette Mahendra. Annette is a critically acclaimed actress with credits in stage, television, independent films, and major motion pictures. We loved her as Nina on The Americans, and now we love her as Huck on the new series, The Walking Dead World Beyond, on Sundays on AMC. She is also a wife, breastfeeding mother, advocate, and we are lucky to call her a friend.
Hi, beautiful people. My name is Annette Mahendra, and I love breastfeeding. I love it. My breastfeeding journey for the past 3 years has been joyful and full of support. Support from my family as I breastfed in our home and their homes. Support from my directors and castmates whenever I've breastfed or pumped on set. Support from my lactation consultant, whose phone I blew up the day after my baby was born. And this support system I was so lucky to have, I want to have for every parent, every child, every family in LA County. And so does Breastfeed LA. They work with hospitals and lawmakers. They teach lactation courses. They partner with community organizations. They walk the walk. I believe in Breastfeed LA so much that last May I hosted a fundraiser where the tacos, tequila, and lactation love were flowing like liquid gold. What brought us together that day is the same thing that brings us together today. A passionate commitment to healthy babies, healthy mothers, and healthy families. I felt like home being together like that. Because home is where the heart is. And my heart is with breastfeeding. My heart is with equal support for all breastfeeding families. And my heart is with Breastfeed LA. So please join me in listening to some beautiful stories from my Breastfeed LA community. And join me in giving with all your hearts.
Yes, thank you, Annette. Your continued support is so awesome. Hannah, did you go to that fundraiser Annette hosted last year? You know it. It was such a lovely event. And speaking of lovely, it's my pleasure to introduce my next guest, my dear friend and continued inspiration, Jessica Wade. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Jessica in person or attending one of her virtual events, you're in for a real treat. Hardly anyone I've ever met leads with her whole heart the way Jess does. She's a natural leader, a born healer, and it was our distinct pleasure to have her as part of our LES cohort this past year.
Hello, my name is Jessica Wade, founder of Mighty Little Giants, a nonprofit organization that advocates for parents experiencing preterm deliveries resulting in long-term hospital NICU stays. I am a certified doula and a lactation specialist through BreastfeedLA's LES program, but most importantly, I am a wife and a mother to two amazing sons. My first son, Marlon Jr., was born 12 weeks premature and spent 143 days in the NICU. For a while, the NICU was like our second home, but it didn't really feel like it. I didn't receive the education, the encouragement, or the compassion that I needed as far as breastfeeding. In fact, when I met with a lactation specialist, she told me that it was too hard for me and that I needed to either use donor breast milk or go with formula. That seed that was planted was such a strong and powerful seed, to the point where when I had my second child 22 months later, I remember being in my postpartum room alone, trying to latch my full-term son onto my breast. And I just remember thinking, this is too hard for you. You know, what are you doing? Because of that seed that was planted. When I brought my son home, I made a promise to God that any other family experienced this wouldn't experience it alone. I would use what I have learned and what I personally experienced to support the families. I never want a parent to go and just not be able to experience the beauty of breastfeeding because of the lack of education, encouragement, and compassion. BreastfeedLA's lactation course has truly changed my life. I am empowered to give NICU moms lactation education delivered with love. I look forward to breaking the lactation barriers in the NICU and teaching the families that the sky is the limit when it comes to breast and chest feeding. I was introduced to BreastfeedLA through WIC, and oh my goodness, I was amazed at the amount of support that is provided for breast and chest feeding. When I heard about the lactation education specialist course, I told myself I have to register. I wanted to learn more about what my body was truly capable of, and I also wanted to provide another layer of support for the families that we support in the NICU. I am now implementing breastfeeding support for my doula clients, my prenatal doula clients that are currently on bed rest, as well as my postpartum doula clients that have their babies in the NICU. BreastfeedLA has truly changed my life, so now I can support these amazing NICU mommies, make a difference in their mighty little giants' lives. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Jessica. Greetings. I'm Nakisha Robinson, a board member and the equity chairperson for BreastfeedLA. Let me tell you why I have donated my time and money to BreastfeedLA since 2017. As a loopy survivor since 2011, my personal and professional focus is on equal and equitable health access. Having experienced dismissal of my health needs, which resulted in the undetected pregnancy of our son until 33.5 weeks, I understand the value of BreastfeedLA, an organization committed to meeting the critical need for inclusive support for birthing individuals and their families. An organization working on the ground to fill those gaps because support is not one size fits all. That is BreastfeedLA. I give because they bring culturally relevant professional development opportunities to the lactation community. I give because they consistently offer lactation education scholarships for Black and Indigenous people of color. I give because representation and inclusivity in healthcare and infant feeding matter. I give because BreastfeedLA is equity in action, and I'm all in for that. And I know you are too. So now I'm asking you to join me in taking action. Donate, bid, and share. Donate to BreastfeedLA. The link is on your screen and in the chat. Please donate now. Consider becoming a sustaining donor like myself and give monthly, $10, $20 a month. Every dollar makes a difference. Bid in our silent auction. The link is right here and in the chat. Every dollar raised goes to us and you get something fabulous too. Share about BreastfeedLA and our gala. Use hashtag BFLA 2020 and share in your unique words why you support BreastfeedLA. You and I are strong breast and chest feeding advocates, and together we can make our voices heard for LA families. And when we put that support behind BreastfeedLA, we amplify our advocacy and pave the way for significant countywide change. So please donate, bid, and share. Thank you.
Thank you, Nakisha. Donate, bid, share, and tag us. Hashtag BFLA 2020. Now, Cindy, how long have you been with BreastfeedLA?
Well, let's see. I started working in 2013, so about 7 years now.
So you've been working with our next guest for some time, Maggie. I love Maggie. She's such a fierce breastfeeding advocate and educator, our longest standing board member, and has the unique perspective of seeing BreastfeedLA evolve over nearly 2 decades.
Good afternoon. I'm Maggie Whitman. I've been a registered nurse for 24 years and an IBLC for 13 years, working the past 8 years as a lactation consultant at Miller's Children and Women's Hospital, Long Beach Memorial. I'm a proud mother of 5 breastfed children and now grandmother of 9 breastfed grandchildren. Early in my career as a postpartum nurse, I noticed that most of my colleagues just did not know how to help mothers establish breastfeeding. My passion became to help colleagues and other health professionals to be able to support mothers who wanted to breastfeed. I took a childbirth education course and became a lactation educator, and later pursued my board certification in 2007. In 2003, I searched for support and found BreastfeedLA, then known as the Breastfeeding Task Force of Greater Los Angeles. I attended a community meeting and immediately became a volunteer. I was so moved by this work. I joined the board in 2005. I served as board secretary for 7 years and have continued on as an at-large member. BreastfeedLA was the catalyst and driving force for helping over 35 hospitals become baby-friendly in LA County. Through the 16-hour baby-friendly training and on-site technical assistance, BreastfeedLA helped hospitals change their policies and practices to successfully support breastfeeding. This has forever changed the story of breastfeeding families in our community. In my 17 years with BreastfeedLA, I have seen us grow and tackle breastfeeding barriers in every way, educating our health professionals with expert speakers, building partnerships with like-minded organizations, workplace lactation accommodation support, advocating for laws to fight workplace and public discrimination, hosting equity and know your rights forums, organizing past sit-ins, marches, and ongoing petitions, providing support for new and breastfeeding coalitions and groups. Most recently, we created our own lactation consultant education course, rooted in reproductive justice and taught by women of color. We gave 70+ scholarships to Black, Indigenous, people of color, and in 2 years graduated 471 incredibly diverse students. That is so powerful to me. There is no greater reward than to invest in families and give our future generations the best start in life. Because of the generosity and the commitment of our partners, supporters, monthly contributors, we have been able to launch new programs and sustain the growth of this powerful work. The work and growth I have witnessed in this organization has been so profound, and as a result, I continue to remain connected. And BreastfeedLA will always have my financial support. I really do love BreastfeedLA.
Thank you, Maggie, and we love you. It's that simple. We're so grateful for your commitment and leadership. You're a treasure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Arissa Palmer, Executive Director of BreastfeedLA. During a large-scale crisis like COVID-19, we recognize that for pregnant and parenting individuals, the experience is heightened. Preparing to shepherd a little life is monumental under normal circumstances, and today can seem astronomical. Like you, we've been watching the landscape of maternity care shift during this public health emergency. And given the widespread panic and general sense of unease that we know many parents and healthcare professionals have felt during this time, BreastfeedLA mobilized to create a COVID-19 response team made up of community partners focused on birth and infant feeding equity in LA County. Our plan began with the guiding principles that breast chest feeding should be encouraged as a vital public health intervention at a community level and supported for every parent-baby diet at an individual level. We created a comprehensive resource center for COVID-19 birth and breastfeeding resources on our website and created a webinar series for parents and the healthcare team focused on birth and breastfeeding rights during the pandemic. We shared resources and addressed the disparities that currently exist for communities of color. The road towards infant feeding equity is a collective labor of love, the love of our staff, community partners, and stakeholders like you. Your support allows us to continue to help families manage the short and long-term effects of COVID-19 and provide families with the opportunity to have the most favorable birth and breastfeeding outcomes possible. Our goal is to change the landscape of lactation in Los Angeles County, and our promise is to listen to our community and be ready and willing to meet their needs. Thank you for your support in helping us further our mission.
If this year has taught us anything, It's that we're truly in this together, except when we're talking about the silent auction. Then it's each bidder for themselves. Cindy, I love you, but I will outbid you for that private wine tasting at Nancy White's house in a hot second. Wow, it's like that, huh, Hannah? Okay then, it's on. Everyone but Hannah, please go check out the silent auction and tend to your bids. Let's take a moment now to say thank you to everyone who donated so far. As of right now, we've raised over $15,000. Can you believe that, Hannah? That's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. And you know, Hannah, I have a surprise for you. You do? Is it snacks? Come on, Hannah. We're filming right now. We can't be eating. No, it's not snacks, but it's something that you love even more. My family. Next. My lactation students. That's right.
No toka Yowalisli ne Purepecha ne Anahuacan. My name is Yowalisli and I am a Purepecha indigenous mother of 2 precious jades who ground me and inspire me every single day. I am a full spectrum doula who just finished the LES 1 course through BreastfeedLA and taking the 2nd course on the pathway to becoming an IBCLC to better serve my community, the indigenous community, Native communities, and all communities of color through this work.
Hola, mi nombre es Marisol García. Recibí mi certificado de asesora y educadora de lactancia por el programa BreastfeedLA. Soy madre, doula, educadora prenatal y de parto, asesora y educadora de lactancia y doy cuidado de cuarentena y posparto. Estoy muy orgullosa de ser organizadora de comunidad y tenemos un espacio para nuestra gente en la ciudad de Long Beach. Por favor, visítenos en La Fuente, Birth, Postpartum y más. Les mando abrazos y cuídense todos.
Hello, my name is Christina Carlos and I'm a graduate of the LES course through BreastfeedLA. Super excited to say that I'm in training for my IBCLC, my goal for next year, and also super blessed to be surrounded by so many women in the breastfeeding community, and just really thankful for the opportunities that BreastfeedLA has awarded me through this program. Thank you, BreastfeedLA.
Hi, my name is Rita Tapia. I'm a current BreastfeedLA student. I just want to take the time and thank BreastfeedLA for giving me the opportunity of giving me a scholarship for taking the 2nd part of the 90-hour lactation education consulting course. I thank all my supporters who have supported me through this way. It's been a long journey. And once again, thank you, BreastfeedLA.
Hi, my name is Natalie Rojas and I am a full spectrum doula who just wrapped up LES 1 with BreastfeedLA, and I'm currently enrolled in LES 2 on my journey towards becoming an IBCLC, and I'm super excited about that. My goal is to, by next year, be board certified and out in the field being of service to our community. And I just wanted to also say that I am very grateful for BreastfeedLA for the amazing opportunity to connect with very talented and knowledgeable, amazing women, and to just be a part of a community who is doing amazing things and making a difference in the world.
You got me, Cindy. I love that. And I miss those faces. There's so much good work being done in our BreastfeedLA lactation education program. When we talk about change and changing the landscape of lactation in LA, we're talking about them, those faces. They are the living, breathing change makers. So please, donate to support them.
The lactation education program love continues. Our next story is from the intersection of our advocacy work and lactation education program. When a parent feels successful and supported in their breast-chest feeding relationship, an advocate is born, and the cycle of support grows. Let's meet Tanya and Emily.
Hi, I'm Tanya Reyes. I'm a mother, I'm an advocate, I'm a national board certified teacher, I'm an agitator, organizer, and lactation education specialist. What got me through my labor with my first child was the enduring image of breastfeeding. Sure enough, my first daughter loved to nurse. When I returned to work, I pumped and nursed my baby on my unpaid break, and I did this happily for 2 months without a problem. Then one day, everything changed. Suddenly, I was banned from feeding my daughter on campus. My pay was docked. I was harassed, timed while pumping, and eventually I lost my job. I was blacklisted by LUSD for almost 2 years. I was referred to BreastfeedLA, and they began to fiercely hold the light for me. They advocated for me against the massive general council of LAUSD. BreastfeedLA did not back down. They showed up. They breathed life into me when I wanted to give up. Together, we protected my breastfeeding relationship with my daughter, and in the end, we prevailed. And this was just the beginning of the story. Because of BreastfeedLA, I became a fierce breast chest feeding advocate. I started a class for LUSD teachers so they know their benefits and lactation rights. I took BreastfeedLA's lactation educator course, and I am a lactation education specialist. I went to Sacramento and I advocated for paid family leave at our capital. In an ironic twist, I was able to secure a new dream position in LAUSD, where I work with pregnant and parenting teens. I transformed a classroom into a special place for parenting teens. We created a home away from home. Before this, my students had no place to pump. Now we have a comfortable chair, stool, pump, and a nursing section. I also have a drawer full of pumps that I can give to students. Our breastfeeding rates increased dramatically. When I first arrived, approximately 25% of our students were breastfeeding. That number is now 75%. This is not because of me, but it is because of informed mothers who were given options and support and whose choices were protected, just like BreastfeedLA did for me. I am humbled to be a part of my students' empowered journey. One of those students is Emily, who you'll hear from next. She is an incredible young mother and fellow breast chest feeding advocate. I had the honor of connecting with BreastfeedLA's lactation education program. I could uplift Emily because BreastfeedLA uplifted me.
My name is Emily Delos Santos. I'm a breastfeeding mother to my 28-month-old son, Jairo, and I am a graduate of BreastfeedLA's lactation program. My breastfeeding journey didn't start off the way I had hoped. After I gave birth to my son in the hospital, a nurse told me that I wouldn't make enough milk because I was too young. When I tried to latch my son, she told me I had inverted nipples and squeezed my breast without permission. They told me I had to pump as much as a 2-ounce bottle of formula to prove that I could feed him. We ended up giving him a bottle just so we could go home. I was so emotional, exhausted, and so sad, but after lots of support, I was able to meet my goal of exclusively breastfeeding my son. I went to a high school for parenting teens, and I kind of became known as the one who breastfeeds because I was always talking about it. Tanya, who you just heard from, is a teacher, and we met helping a student with breastfeeding. Tanya saw my passion and interest and told me about BreastfeedLA's lactation educator course. They were offering scholarships for Black, Indigenous, people of color, and she encouraged me to apply. We learned that history, culture, and generational trauma matter, especially when we work with people of color. BreastfeedLA taught me about so much more than just lactation. It taught me about the importance of really listening to people and respecting their truth. I wish my nurses had respected me in the hospital, but now I can do that for others. I want to work with WIC and become a lactation consultant. I will continue to come back to the BreastfeedLA classes to educate and counsel young parents about infant feeding. I am turning my skill and passion for breastfeeding, chest feeding support into a career thanks to BreastfeedLA. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you, Tanya. This is what real change in our community looks like. To sustain this kind of progress, please donate to BreastfeedLA. And please check up on your silent auction bids. There are tickets to the California Breastfeeding Coalition's annual summit and a children's book basket. There is also great gifts for the holidays. Please share this event and our work, tag us, and remember to use hashtag BFLA2020. And now for our special guest, Angelina Spicer. Angelina is an actor, comedian, advocate, activist, and a friend of BreastfeedLA. She's known for her viral comedy sketches and appearances on The Real Jimmy Kimmel Live and Conan. She was treated for postpartum depression in a psychiatric hospital and shares her experiences with the world, one laugh at a time. She's working on a documentary about her postpartum journey called The Push for Permission. We'll see you over in the chat. Here's Angelina.
Yes! Yes, Cindy, thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you to BreastfeedLA for having me perform for you in my bedroom. Yes, where the magic used to happen. Thank you. Give it up for yourselves. You know, I was so excited to be here. I put on my 3 favorite things: my good bra, deodorant, and my eyebrows. Get into it. Ooh, yes. After I had my baby, I realized one thing. Everybody is a liar. They lie. They lie because they want to see you suffer. You know, misery loves company. So they lie. They see you over there, you know, with your toned body, no stretch marks, fresh uterus, And they're like, let's get her. I fell for it. I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and have a baby. No. They lie. Nobody tells you that after you have a baby, your vagina breaks. In half. Yes. Pop down underneath. And it just feels like you just sat on a meat slicer. You know, it's like, ooh, panties just full of pastrami. And all you ever hear is all the great things about motherhood. You know, how beautiful and magnificent and wonderful it is. Especially on Facebook. You know, people are like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing feeling. My heart is beating outside of my body. I pushed my baby out. They put her on me. I was like, I made a mistake. What's the return policy? I was done. Quit. Ready. People lie. And celebrities, they mess it up for everybody. You know, celebrities, all they come out and they're like, postpartum body, hashtag snapback. Girl, well, my mind actually snapped. People are like, oh, it's amazing. How are you, Angelina? You don't even look like you had a baby. And I'm like, does anybody smell knives? They lie. They don't tell you that you can get postpartum depression. I know, it's a white woman's disease, but I got it. But it wasn't all bad, you know. I know I'm complaining a lot, but it was not all bad. When I first had my daughter, I did go on a 10-day vacation. Yeah, to this amazing resort in Pasadena called the Las Encinas Psychiatric Facility. Whoo! They took care of me, honey. I pulled up. I was like, I felt like I had won The Price is Right. Like, come on down. I was like, yes, Drew. Give me my meds. Give me my bed. Yes, I'm going to be up in this joint for a while, Drew. No, baby. It was amazing. You know, I always tell people that psych wards ain't bad. Help me get right. Help me get it together. I tell them that so that we can make postpartum trendy. You know, that's my whole goal. Normalize it so we can normalize the conversation and mamas can get help. I just want to normalize postpartum. Make it trendy. Like kale. Yes. Kale. Kale was a garnish. Nobody touched kale. Nobody looked at kale. Then all of a sudden, one celebrity's like, all I eat is kale. And now everybody's like, oh, kale? Kale got t-shirts. Kale got bumper stickers. Kale got billboards. Kale got t-shirts. Kale got an agent. Kale got an agent before I got an agent. Man, what we need in this movement, we need a name. Like, but people don't listen to their mothers, but they will listen to a hashtag. So we need a hashtag. Hashtag postpartum revolution. Yes. Hashtag postpartum revolution. So ladies, grab your breast pumps. Pick your uterus up off the floor. This is an insurgence. Hashtag postpartum revolution. I am Angelina Spicer. You guys have been amazing. I know you have been. I can't see you, but I know you are. Please follow us at The Push for Permission on Instagram to follow our journey to complete our documentary about postpartum depression and normalize this thing. Hashtag postpartum revolution.
Well, that's what I needed. Maybe what we all needed. We'll cry, we'll laugh, and we will get through this. Thank you so much, Angelina. And that brings us to the end of our show. We hope you've had a great time. I know that we have. Yes, I am so grateful to be a part of this Breastfeed LA community. I invite everyone, all of us, to please donate. At our usual in-person galas, you have to brave LA traffic, you have to get all done up. Today you joined us in hopefully the comfort of your own home. Please consider donating what you would have paid for your usual gala ticket. We need your support. Every dollar makes a difference. Please donate today or join us as a sustaining donor and feed our work with a set monthly donation. If you feel what we feel, if you're inspired by this work, please share about us. Use hashtag BFLA2020. Spread the love. Join us. Volunteer. With all our hearts, we thank you. Be well.